Over the 20 years I've been coaching and training real estate agents and been in the industry, the number one question that is asked every single day is how to become a top listing agent. So today I want to address the 5 paths that I have discovered over the years to be able to become a great listing agent. Before we dive in, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do that. It's a huge favor for me. Numbers are finally going up, so that's great. Number 2, if you want to stay in tune with the latest content that I'm sharing, as a coach for Tom Ferry, just what I'm doing is on Fridays, I'm compiling my best insights, the best things that I'm studying, looking at, blogs, anything that I'm doing, case studies that I'm sharing. I just put it into a little email on Friday and I send it out to all my clients and agent friends out there. So jump down below and just put your email, click the link and put your email in and you'll get the next one. So hope you enjoy. All right, so let's dive into the 5 paths to become a great listing agent. But first, let's cover a couple key distinctions before we get into that. Key distinctions number 1 is when we talk about listing lead generation, there's a few things that we need to be aware of. Number 1 is there's immediate sources of business, meaning there's things that we can go get a listing appointment today. Like if I take action right now, I can get a listing appointment today or tomorrow or the next day. That's immediate. Then there are sources that are future sources. So I can kind of do some action today. I can have a conversation with a seller today, but it's really not going to equate to a listing that might not come into the future. So there's immediate sources of business and then there's future sources of business. So we'll reference that as we go down. There's also what I love that Tom brings up is sweat equity versus check equity. So low cost or free ways to go do it. And then there's check equity, which is you just pay high cost to go get those listing appointments. So we'll look at each one of these distinctions as we dive in. All right, so let's take a look at path number 1. Now, this is super counterintuitive, but I see this as an amazing way for people to think. It's number 1 is help a lot of buyers buy homes over 5 years. Now, what am I talking about? If you help a lot of buyers buy over 5 years, organically, what will happen is every 2 years number 1 path, counterintuitive. If you help a lot of buyers buy over the course of 5 years and you do a great job with those customers, what will happen is naturally you will organically become a listing agent. Now, this is counterintuitive for a lot of you. Some of you may go, oh yeah, that happened to me. But here's what happens. After, I think really about your 2nd year after you help a lot of buyers buy homes, really within 2 years, all of a sudden you get the phone call. Hey, something happened, we want to sell. Or hey, we want to upgrade. Or hey, we got a job transfer. So if you did a good job, all of a sudden, those buyers start calling you and you start listing and selling their homes. So if you sell a lot of buyers over 5 years, you will literally transition almost to a rock star listing agent within about the 7th year. So I have seen this pattern occur over and over again. And so I just want all of you newer agents especially, this message is for you. Stop obsessing over or stop listening to this advice about the list to live. Stop listening to that advice. If you do a really, really good job and you crush it with a bunch of buyers, naturally, you will become a top listing agent. Now, I haven't heard anyone talking about that, so I hope that's helpful. Let's take a look at, and obviously that's a long path to this thing, but let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, of course, is the expired listing game and also the for sale by owner game. And I'm going to put the two of these together. Now, I was a trainer for my dad's company for 12 years. And this is basically all we did is we taught exactly what to say, exactly what to do to go convert expired listings into listing appointments, into listings sold, and for sale by owners into listing appointments, into listings sold. This path, traditionally, if we look back 30 years in this industry, 40 years in this industry, this has easily been one of the most successful paths to become a top listing agent. And new agents, this actually is a really good path for you. But please, everybody, be forewarned. It is not easy. And in this low inventory environment, it's actually even worse. It's harder. So it's a super competitive space. It takes a tremendous amount of grit. You have to develop a lot of skills and really learn how to become a top listing agent. And if you do this path, it just works. So, as a Tom Ferry coach, and pretty much most of the trainers in the world will talk about this strategy. But I'm not sure that it is right for everyone. So we really need to talk about that individually with each one of you. Okay, let's take a look at path number 3. Path number 3 is the geographic farm. Now, if you haven't watched, I've done 2 videos on geographic farming in the last probably 30 days. Please go back and watch that one. If you're in consideration of a geographic farm, if you have a geographic farm that's underperforming, you need to watch that video. I'll put a link down below in the description box to that video that you need to watch. But let's talk about this for a second. If I surveyed, the top 1,000 most successful listing agents in the United States, and we actually asked them, do you have a geographic farm? The percentage that would have a geographic farm would be massive. I mean, it would be at least 75% would be my guess. Okay, so for all of those agents who have resisted the geographic farm, or my new agents where you're kind of looking at this more as one of those future sources of business, that's pretty accurate. But when you jump into my training session below, I'm going to show you how to do sweat equity and actually get immediate sources of business from the geographic farm. So make sure you do that. All right, let's talk about path number 4. Path number 4 is really mass direct mail. Now, talk about check equity, right? Whereas the expired and the for sale by owners, total sweat equity, the only cost is really if you buy phone numbers, right? So it's very low cost. Working the buyers over the years is, you can just very low cost for you to do that. Maybe if you just did open houses and you picked up buyers and you put them into property, very low cost. Geographic farm, combination of low cost, sweat equity, plus check equity with the direct mail. Okay, so, this is how that works. But mass direct mail, yeah, we're talking about big bucks. But this is proven formula that works really well. Some of Tom's greatest coaching clients who are some of the most, multi-million dollar agents, they have leveraged direct mail as one of their main plays to becoming a top listing agent. So it is something for us to really look at and understand. I love what Tom talks about where he says that in direct mail, marketing is just math. And I think this is where all the agents get messed up, is they're kind of like, oh my God, if I got to spend $500 to send out, 700 postcards, and I don't get a phone call on the first time, or if I got 2 phone calls but I didn't get a sale, and then all of a sudden they just go paralyzed. Well, it's just the math. Okay, so there's this many, this cost, this many, I got this response. Well, how many would it take for me to get a listing, and then what would be my profit margin on the how much, and then if I took the profit and I reinvested it, and then I did that again and again and again, and you just played the math game, This is where, guys, some of the most successful listing agents on the planet, I mean, they're sending out 100,000 pieces a month. Oh my gosh, they're probably spending, you know, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, $100,000 a month on direct mail. Guys, it's just math. There's a really phenomenal book for those of you that would like to really study direct mail or maybe get a little more confidence or figure out how to become great at it. There's a great book. If you guys haven't seen my bookshelf over here, it's back in action. So The Advertising Solution, Brian Kurtz and Craig Simpson. These are two of some of the most intelligent and successful direct mail marketers on the planet today. Craig Simpson and Brian Kurtz. So pick up that book if you really want to gain some confidence in direct mail marketing. Okay. Now, currently today in direct mail marketing, there's two things that we really should be doing. We should be doing the I have a buyer letter or the I wrote an offer letter. Those two direct mail pieces have proven to be very successful right now in a low inventory market. So please make sure you're taking action on those. You can reduce the cost by taking the letter and going door knocking and or door dropping your I have a buyer or I wrote an offer letter, and that is producing phenomenal results. Or you just write the check, send a lot of them, and get it done. Okay. Also in direct mail too, make sure that we are doing a really quality just listed, just sold campaign. I just recently did a video on what the copy should be, reimagining in the modern low inventory multiple offer environment. What is the new just listed, just sold campaign strategy? I just did a video on that probably 30 days ago as well. Make sure you go back to that, or I'll link down in the description box for you to watch that. But I think that's a huge opportunity right now for you guys to test out some direct mail and make some profit. Okay. All right. So there's number 4. Let's go to number 5. Number 5, I just put down some classic niche strategies. So I'm just going to make reference to a few things here. Number 1 is door knocking, right? You know, my father probably is the godfather of the door knocking strategy for, you know, getting listings in real estate. And, you know, and he talks about that, you know, for 40 years. And we all know that works. If you just talk to enough homeowners and you do that at scale, there's no way you can't get a listing if you just don't say anything too stupid, right? As my father would commonly say. Next, in the niche strategies, you know, I think the by referral only, you know, system totally works, right? And so if you just, you know, again, if you ask enough of your friends and your community and your network, and you talk to them enough about real estate, and you ask them if they know anyone who's thinking of selling, and you ask them for the referral, that will work for sure, right? Another one I wrote down in the classic niche strategies is the one that I'm most excited about in 2021 is the absentee owner. Okay, so the non-owner occupied. This is a phenomenal strategy right now. Shout out to Tom and his podcast this week. Man, you're going to hear a couple of the top agents that they referenced in that session are killing it with the absentee owner. I did a video with my good buddy, Mr. Paul Campanero, probably 2 months back on absentee owners. A bunch of my coaching clients are on absentee owners right now. It's just working, guys. So you need to get that strategy figured out. So there's the 5 paths, my friends, of how to become a great listing agent. So I think any one of those paths, all of them work. It's really a matter for you is which one makes the most sense for you, for your market, for your skill sets, your mindset, your resources. You know, if you really look at kind of, you know, what's going on in your marketplace, that is where you really got to make a great business decision and go all in on it. Because none of those strategies of the 5 paths are something that you can try. They're all things that you would have to fully commit to so that you can earn a position as a great listing agent in your marketplace, which when you achieve that goal, it is amazing. As everybody talks about, as all of us admire the top listing agents, it will not come easy, but those are the 5 paths that absolutely can make it happen. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help out. Make sure you subscribe to my e-newsletter if you want to make sure that you stay up to date with me once a week. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks so much.